Good afternoon, class. You are welcome to today's class. Today we'll be looking at data structures. So that is the topic we'll be looking into. And last time that we had this lecture, we looked into subprogram in Python and PHP. So the last one is subprogram in PHP. So, and we have been able to delve deep into subprogram in Python and PHP. And today's one we'll be looking at data structure. What is data structure? Data structure is a way of organizing and storing data in a computer so that it can be accessed and used efficiently. So it's a collection of data objects characterized by how the objects are accessed, which is implemented in a particular programming language. And that particular programming language is the Python and PHP we have been looking into. So is, for example, maybe you have a shelf that contain a book. Data structure is like a shelf, maybe for instance like your shelf that contain books, not only one book, that contain book. Now we have a method of arranging that book. So data structure is a method of arranging maybe your code, your program is a method of arrangement that make operations, maybe operation like adding, deleting, or finding data more effective and used efficiently. So it's a method of arrangement that you can able to access your object, your data, and which it is implemented in a particular programming language. So we have basic terms that we use for those basic terms that we use in organizing or storing our data in a computer. We have an interface. Each data structure has an interface. Interface represents the set of operations that a data structure supports. So, and it have implementation. Implementation provides the internal representation of a data structure. And implementation also provides the definition of the algorithm used in the operation of the name. So data type, I've said, like we have the integer represent numeric data, and they are whole number. Integer are whole number from negative infinity to infinity. So that is integer. They represent numeric data. So we have float. Float stand for float point number, and it can be for rational number, usually ending with a decimal figure, such as like this 1.11 or 3.14. So they are decimal figure. They are always end with decimal figure, decimal number. So they are decimal number. So we have the operation of integer and float, how they use it in this example here. The float, the addition and the subtraction of the float number. So the multiplication as well. So, and we have the return of the coefficient with the quotient, and the return for the remainder. So the print the coefficient s, coefficient y, and that of the return the remainder, print s remainder y, as the sign for remainder, print s remainder y. So absolute value, we have that of the absolute value, print abs s portion. We have the s to the power y, print s, this 2 star asterisk y to the power y, s to the power y. So we have to take note that Python, you do not have to explicitly state the type of variable or your data, because it is a dynamic type language. So when it is a dynamic type language, they are the language where the type of data and object can store is mutable, that is, can change. So we have the string as well as part of the data type. String are collection of alphabets, words or other character. So, and they can create string by closing a sequences of character within a pair of single or double quotes. So we can say example of string like cake, cookies. So cake single quote, cookies double quote. So we can also apply the plus operation on two or more strings to concatenate them. So we can see from the example here, we have S to be cake, we have Y to be cookies in a single quote. So S plus, so this and in a single quote plus Y, and that plus is that plus operation stand for concatenation. So we want to concatenate two variable to S plus that and signify is a string, is signify, and the plus we are concatenating the string this and with the S and Y. So by the time we generate the print the output, so we have the value, the variable of S to be cake, and which is that plus as join, as concatenate the variable together. We have cake and cookies. So S for cake, S stand for cake, Y stand for cookie. So the and as a string, single quote, so cake and cookies. So the plus has concatenate the two strings together. So we have the cake and cookies. So in this place, other basic operations that you can perform with string. For example, you can use asterisk star to repeat a string a certain number of times. So like this asterisk now, which is star, to repeat like S asterisk 2, that is you repeat that value of that S, the variable that value that you assign to that S, it repeats twice. So we have cake because that asterisk represent repeat that value twice. That is for that one. So you can also slice string, which means that you can select part of string. So we can see here, we can slice string by selecting part of string. We have range slicing, and how to we write range slicing. Set 1 equal to S 2 semicolon. So we are slicing. So when we print, so we are slicing by ranging. So we have slicing as well by having by positioning it. So so I will just jump, because all this sliding, range sliding is string, all this sliding is have been, as we have expatiated deep in it in 201. So I will quickly explain that of the PHP to compare it to get with Python. So we have that of the Python function, some of those Python function, capitalizing string, so string capitalize cookies, and we have that of retrieving the length of a string in character. So spacing, we will also take note that spacing also count when we are counting, when we want to retrieve the length of a string in character. So we are counting with the positioning. So spacing also count towards the final result. So you count the space as well. So we can see the example in this code as well. So like this one, we check whether a string consists of only digits. So we see using boolean. So whether true or false, whether that string consists of only digits or it doesn't contain only digit. So that's why we have the boolean true or false. This example, so we replace part of the string with other string. So we replace part of the string with others. You can see from the little code here, example code here. So I'm finding some string in other string, returning the lowest index or position within the string at which the substring is found. So we return the lowest index. Our index will be starting with 0. So we return the lowest index or position within the string. So like we have str1 cookies equal to cookie double in single quote, str2 so cook. So we str1 find str2 inside bracket, inside the bracket. So and by the time we generate the output, so the position, the lowest index, which is to find the str2 cook inside cookies, so it will start with the position 1, the lowest index. So the substring cook is found at the start of the cookies, and as a result you refer to the position within the cookies at which you find that substring. In this case, 0 is returned because you start counting in position from 0. I said you start counting from position 0, and our cook find inside the cookies. When we start counting it, so we start counting from the position from 0. So that's why we have the first example code. When we find str2, the position is to start the position from 0. So the output is 0. So the example code, the next example code, the str1 equal to I got you a cookies single quote str2 cook. So we find str1 dot notation find str2. So counting the position of str2 inside str1, by the time we generate the output, we have 12 with the position starting counting from 0. So the substring cook is found at position 12 from the example code I explained finish. Within I got you a cookies, so we can see cook is found at position 12 within the I got you a cookies. So we must remember that we start counting from 0, and that spaces count towards the position. So you count the spaces towards the position. So another data type we look into boolean. Boolean is a built-in data type that can take up the value true and false, that take up the values of true and false, and which often make them interchangeable within the integer 1 and 0. So boolean are useful in conditional and comparison expression. So we have the example of how we use boolean boolean data type, and the value that always contain true and false. So we have the sy, s to be 4 equal to 4, y to be 2, and s equal to y. So by the time we have the output is false. So because s is not equal to y with the value given to be s and y. So we have the s greater than y. So by the time we generate the output, so the value is true. So we have the value to be s greater than y from the value given to the value we have here. So by the time we generate the output is true. So s equal to 4, y equal to 2. So z equal to s equal to y inside the bracket. So comparison expression evaluate false. So we have the if z column conditional on true or false value of z. So we print the cookies, s print no cookies, so the output no cookies. So we want to look at data type conversion, how to convert our data types. So we can find yourself working on someone else's code, and maybe sometime you find yourself working on someone else's code and you will need to convert an integer to a float or vice versa from the example we have did in Python, in introduction to Python, that there is a need for you to convert. Maybe you are working on or on integer and there is a need for you to convert to float or vice versa. So maybe you find out that you have been using an integer when what you really need is a float. Maybe you have been using integer and what you need is a float. So in such a case, there is a need for you to convert the data type of variable of those variable you have been using, that you need to convert to another data type again. So to check the type of an object in Python, we use the built-in type, built-in data type function. So like this example code, like this code below here, we have I to be 4.0 and we want to look at the type of that value, value inside this code. So we have I to be 4.0 type I. So by the time we have the Python generate the type of I, which is float, because we have the value for I is 4.0, which is float decimal. So when you have to change the type of an entity from one data type to another, is called typecasting. So typecasting is converting one data type to another. That is what typecasting means. And we have two kinds of data conversion. We have the implicit, that stands as coicon, and explicit, often referred to as casting. So we want to look at implicit data type conversion for Python programming language. So implicit data type is an automatic data conversion, and the compiler handles this for us. So let's look at the example of how we use implicit data type conversion. So we have a float, we have s to be 4.0, we have an integer y to be 2 equal to 2. So divide s by y. So we have z equal to s slash y divided by y. So we check the type of cell that we have, and so Python has already converted, has already automatically convert that value of cell, that s and y, and convert it by checking the type of cell after it did the result by dividing s divided by y, and he has assigned it to cell. So Python has automatically convert that data that has been assigned to that cell. He has converted the data and checked the type of data inside the cell. So we check the type of cell, the data type of cell that is inside after he has done the result, and he has assigned it to that cell. So he check, and when he check, he discovered that floating type, float type. That is the example. So yeah, the example that we did have to explicitly change the data type of y to perform float value division. So the compiler this is for us implicitly. So the compiler has done the value, the data type of y to perform float value division. So explicit data type conversion in Python, they are the type of data type conversion that is user defined. So this one is user defined, that is the programmer they define the type of data type, this explicit data type. So that is it means you have to explicitly inform the compiler to change the data type of certain entity. So let's see the code sheet below. Let's see the code here. S to be 2 and y equal to s equal to 2, y equal to this double quote. So result y plus s. So you have to generate the result to be y plus s, which we store inside result. So by the time we print it out, we run it, we have error. So and the error here that is saying trace type error, trace back most recent callers, we have the error here, Python, IPython input this in modules, this s equal to y equal to this. With the result, they said type error can't convert int type, int data type. Our s is int, so int object to string implicitly. So our type error is can't convert this int value, this int object to str implicitly. So we have here, so the above example that gave us an error, because the reason why we have the error is that the compiler does not understand that we are trying to perform concatenation or addition. Because here from the above example, the compiler, when he said the result print, and that when you run it, the code, the compiler does not know that you are trying to perform concatenation or addition because of the missed data type. Reason is that because of the missed data type. So you have an integer and a string that you are trying to add together. We have the integer to be 2, s to be 2, and we have the string as y to be this. So and you are trying to add the two together. So and the compiler does not know that you are trying to do concatenation. So now what we try to do, like we bring the code again here. So what to try to solve this so that the error will not occur again is to first convert the integer, int integer value to a string. So by converting it into a string, to then be able to perform concatenation. So we convert like this, like the example. Now I bring the example again back to display s equal to 2 as the integer int, and we have y to be this, which is a string. So we want to convert. So and we want to add the two together, both the integer and the string together. So and we make use of the concatenation, we perform concatenation. So the result will be y plus, that is concatenation. We want to concatenate two values together, y plus str as the integer value. We want to convert this to string strs. So print the result, we have these two. So it has converted the integer to a string, and by performing concatenation on the two values. So we have PHP as, so we want to look at PHP variable type, data type too. We are finished with the Python data type. So PHP have 4 primitive variable type. We have the integer for PHP, we have the double, we have, in Python is float, but in PHP double. So we have the double data type, we have the string, we have the boolean. So the integer, they are whole number, the same whole number as that of the Python. We have whole number in PHP without a decimal point, like whole number for that of the PHP integer whole number, they are whole number, and that of the whole number, they are without decimal point, that like that of the Python. So we have the example here, like 4195. So they are the simplest type, and they correspond to simple whole number, both positive and negative. Negative integer can be assigned to variables, or they can be used in expression, like we can see from this example under below here. And another variable type is double. We have double. In Python is float. So they are double, they are like 3.14159 or 49.1. By default, double print with the minimum number of decimal places. So we have the example of integer and float operation on a PHP data type. So we have the double, the value for assign value for double, and for addition, echo output, we have the subtraction, we have the multiplication, the return coefficient, the return reminder, and the s to the power. So you go and study that. So we have the string as well. We have the string as well. So we have the string as well. The string, they are the sequences of character, like this PHP support string operation, so which is double quote. They are the sequences of character. So we have the example of string here, string, $, string, underline one. This is a string double quote. We have the string underline two. This is what somewhat longer singly quoted string. So we have the single quote, we have the double quote. This string has 39 character, and we have the 0 character, a string with a 0 character that is empty. So singly quoted string are treated almost literal, whereas double quoted string replace variable with their value, as well as specifically interpreting certain character sequences. So we have the example of all these double quote string, single quote string, how they make use of it in this example. So and we have the that of the double quote, single quote from the example below it here. So and the result is being produced here under the from the example code here. So the result, my variable $7 will not print, my name will print. So that's the result of the example. So we have there are no artificial limit on string length within the band of available memory. We ought to be able to make arbitrary long string that are delimited by double quote, as in this double quote are preprocessed in both of the following two ways by PHP. So certain character sequence begin with / are replaced with special characters. So variable names starting with $, are replaced with string representation of their value. So we have the sequence replacement. We have the / n, that is replaced by the new line character. We have the /r is replaced by the carriage return character. We have the /t is replaced by the tab character, and the $sign $sign is replaced by the $sign itself, and / double quote is replaced by a single double quote, and / is replaced by a single /. So we have the boolean as well. Boolean variable type, they have only two possible values, either true or false. So related to that of the Python as well, PHP provide a couple of constants, especially for use as boolean, true and false. So we can see the example. If true, print this, we always print br, else print this, we never print. So we study the example for the boolean. We have the example down as well. Interpreting other type as boolean, we have the rule for determining the truth of any value not already of the boolean type. So if the value is like 1, if the value is a number, it is false if exactly equal to 0 and true otherwise. So if the value is a number, it is false if exactly equal to 0 and true otherwise. And if the value is a string, it is false if the string is empty, as 0, that is as 0 characters, or if the string is 0 and is true otherwise. So another types of boolean, value of type null are always false. So another one is if the value is an array, it is false if it contains no other value, and it is true otherwise. For object containing a value means having a member variable that has been assigned a value. So value resources are true, that is, although some functions that return resources when they are successfully will return false when unsuccessful. So don't use double as boolean. So you don't use double as boolean. So each of the following variable has the true value embedded in it when it is used in a Boolean content. So like this example code here, $true underscore no, this value numeric is true, numeric true. We have the $true underscore try and true. So it generates non-empty string, non-empty string, true. So we have the $true underscore array, an array equal to array element, array with at least one element. So $first underscore array equal to array, array in the bracket, we have empty array, we have empty array to be true, and we have that of the $first underscore none equal to no, we have which is known to be false, and we have that of the first $first underscore known to be 999 and minus 999. That means is zero, it's a zero to be false, so the result will be zero and it will be false. So we have the $false to be s underscore str, which we have empty string to be false. We have the type conversion and casting in PHP as well. We want to look at type conversion and casting in PHP programming language. So when we say type conversion, when you declare a variable in PHP, you do not specify its types. So when you declare a variable in PHP programming, you do not specify its type. Its type depends on the value it currently holds. So its type depends on the value that it currently holds. But for example, the following variable has been assigned a string value. So we can see from the example below here that it has been assigned a string value. The variable has been assigned a string value. So its type is currently string. So and we verify by using the getType function. So we verify by using the getType function. So like we have the $var val equal to load here, exclamation mark. So we did this single quote. So we are assigning a string to this $var. So and by the time we generate the output using the getType function, so by the time we verify by using the getType function, we generate the output echo getType $var. So we have the string. So we have string value. So we can change a variable type by assigning a new value of a different type. So we assign an integer to the variable declared above. So we assign a integer to the variable that we are declared above, and we use the getType function again to see the result. So we can see here with the example code bringing it down. So we assign an integer to the variable, so that we declare it above here. We assign a integer value to $val. So now it's now assigned as integer. So this $val to be equal to 21. So we have assigned integer to that variable $val. So echo getType $val. So by the time we generate the output, we have the integer value. We have integer value assigned to it. Now the variable $val is of type integer, simply because it now holds an integer value. Because it holds an integer value, so the type is now integer. So we have and we want to look at the automatic type conversion. So a variable type may vary depending upon the content in which it is used. Some functions and operators may expect a value of a particular type and automatically convert it to that type or try to. So like the example, maybe for example, we have the echo and print that we want to generate that function of that expected value of a particular type. and that automatically convert to that type. So I want to make you use echo and print. So we expect a string. So echo and print expect string. So we, and a conditional expression expect a boolean. Like this, if conditional expression, we expect a boolean, either true or false. So an attempt to convert may result in an error message that we did early, maybe in Python programming, for converting to one type to another. So it may, if we didn't explicitly do it very well, it can generate an error message. So when a particular type cannot be successfully converted to the expected type. So when a particular type you want to convert cannot be successfully converted to that expected type you want, so it can generate an error message. So when we attempt to use echo to display a variable that currently holds an array value. So let's see the example that maybe for instance, let's see example, let's see what happens that when we attempt to use an echo to display a variable that currently holds an array value. So let's see here below. Here we have the $var equal to array, inside the bracket one as a single quote, 2 in words as a single quote, 3 in words as a single quote. So echo $var. So let's take note of the comment. Notice the array to string conversion in file online line number. So maybe we are converting an array to string conversion to string in online. So online number. So an array. So echo function is not able to successfully convert an array to a string. So we take note of that. Echo function may not successfully convert an array to a string. All it can do is issue a notice and then display, like you can see in this little example code above here, that what it can do is to issue a notice and then display array. So however, you can display the content of array using the var underscore dump function, var underscore dump function. So we can receive from this example here. So let's say setting a variable type and type casting. Setting a variable type and type casting. So what is type casting? Type casting is converting one data type to another. So, and PHP provide a variety of methods for changing the type of a variable or temporarily changing the type of the value it holds. Like the set type function. You can change the type of a variable by using PHP set type function. So let's see the example here. Suppose we have a variable that is currently assigned a number, and you would like to convert it to a string. So let's see here that we are having a variable that is currently assigned a number and you want to convert it to a string. In this example below here, like this integer value, $value equal to 24 integer. So we have the set $var type to string. So we want to convert that particular integer number to a string. So as a string, so we make use of the set type function. So the set type inside the bracket $var string. So we want to convert it to a string. The current type of variable that has assigned a number, we want to convert it to a string. So we make use of the set type function. So we check the type and value of $var. So by making use of the var underscore dump function, and var underscore dump function can display the content of array using the var dump function. So we have var underscore dump function inside the bracket $var. So we have the string 2 to be 24, string 2 to be, so the output we have is string 2 to be 24 at our integer value that we assign a number is being converted to a string. So the variable will retain that type unless you either change the value of the variable to another type. So that variable will retain that type of that value unless you change the value to the variable of another type, or use set type again to assign another type to it. You can use set type function to set the following type in addition to string. So you can see here. So we have the type conversion function. So PHP provides several functions that can be used to convert a value to a specific type. We have the strval function that can be used to convert a value to a string as demonstrated. So strval function in PHP, what it does is that convert any value into a string. That is the function of strval. So we have the example below how they use it. We have the same example, $var as an integer to be 88. So we have the pass $var to strval and check return value with var underscore dump function, dump dump function. So we have var underscore dump function inside strval, inside the bracket $var out function. So we have the string 2 to be 88. So we have used the strval function to convert, we use it to convert a value, the value that we have assigned as integer, to convert it to a string. So we have the string is 28 to be 88 double quote. So the value of the integer has been converted to a string. So we share the type, we share the data type, we share the type and value of the $var. We have the var underscore dump. So inside the bracket we have the $var. So and we have the int 8. So by the time we share the output, we have the $var to know to share the type and value for the $var. We have the int 88 inside the bracket. So we must notice that, must take note that although we can see that the strval function has returned a string value when we share the value of the variable again. So we can, when we share the value of the variable, we can see that the strval function has returned a string value. So when we share the value of the variable, we see it is not a string but an integer. So when we check it from our code above here, we can see that it's not a string but an integer value that we generate. In other words, the strval function returns a converted value but does not change the type. So it does not change the type, but it just returns the strval function just return a converted value but does not change the type of the variable itself. So related functions are available for converting to other type where we have the int var, intvar, we have the float var, floatvar, and we have the bool var for converting to integer, floating point number. So we have typecasting. I told you that typecasting is converting one data type to another. So that is typecasting. And it can also use typecasting. You can also use typecasting to change the type of a variable. So in order to cast a variable or value to another type, specify the desired type in parentheses immediately before the variable you wish to convert. So in order for us to cast a variable that is a value to another type, you specify the desired type in parentheses immediately before the variable you wish to convert. So let's see Example, by demonstrating casting a boolean to a string. So we want to look at how to cast a boolean to a string. So from this example code here, the $value, which is a boolean, we have cast $val to string and check return value with val_dump function. So we have the val_dump function. Inside the bracket, the two bracket, we have the string $val. So we have the string 1. So now we can see that it is now a string. It has been converted to a string. So as the $ value, that is a boolean before, has been converted to a string 1. So with the 1 double quote, so we share the type. We want to share the type, data type, and the value of the $val. So to check, we have the val_do function, $val inside the bracket. We have the boolean to check the type. We have boolean to be true, boom, true. So at the type of the variable that we have converted to, so it is that we have the boom as the $val to be true. So we have to take note that casting does not change the type of the variable. It only returns the converted value and make no lasting change, just as the converted function like strval that we have explained before this one. So in addition to see, the following casts are also supported by PHP. The int, boom, float, array, and object are supported by PHP. So we have non-primitive data structure. Their non-primitive type are the sophisticated member of the data structure family. They don't just store a value, but rather a collection of values in various formats. So for non-primitive type, they don't just store a value, but a collection of values in various formats. So in the non-primitive data structure, they are divided into array, list, file. Our array being the very basic one we'll be explaining for Python and PHP. Array in Python, which we have discussed in 201, array in Python are a compact way of collecting basic data type. All the entries in an array must be of the same data type. Arrays are not popular in Python like PHP, so we make use of array in PHP, so they are not too popular in Python. So in general, when people talk of array in Python, they are actually referred to list. So when we talk of array in Python, they are referred to list. So however, there is fundamental difference between them. So for Python, array can be seen as a more efficient way of storing a certain kind of list, and this type of list has elements of type. So in Python, array are supported by the array module and need to be imported before you start initializing and using them. So in Python, you need to import the array before you start initializing and using them. So the elements stored in an array are constrained in their data type. The data type is specified during the array creation and specified using a type code. So we can see from the example here, in which is a single character like the one that we can see in this example, import array. I told us in Python that we know there is a need for us to import. You import the array before you start initializing and using them. So import array as arr, equal to arr dot array inside the bracket single quote, so double quote, comma 369. So we import the array and we will look at the type A inside the bracket. So array dot array. So in PHP, array are named. They are named and index collection of other value. So in PHP, arrays they are named and index collection of other values. An array is a data structure that store one or more similar type of value in a single value. So we can see example of array in PHP, starting with PHP, first method to create array is $ number equal to array, inside the bracket use number for each, inside the bracket $ numbers as $value. So echo value is $value. So we can see that array in PHP, they are name and index collection of others. So from the example here, and we can see other Python types. We can see other Python types that they are tuple dictionary sets that we have discussed in 201, and we can see other PHP types as well that include num, objects,